Hello, class. We're going to learn about setting up a Google site. And I'm going to walk you through some of the steps on setting up this site. It's a lot easier than you might think. Google Sites are free. It's one of the many Google products that we'll be using in the class, including Google has Google Slides, which is like PowerPoint, Google Sheets, which is like Excel, and Google Docs, which is like Microsoft Word. The only difference is they're free and they work a little bit differently, but they all have the same principles as their counterparts. So Google Sites is just a way to make a free website. And we're going to use it to create a portfolio for you to put all the artifacts that you're going to create into a portfolio that you can take with you after the class. The good thing about this is you can keep adding to it after the class. It's a nice way to find a job afterwards. You can point them to your Google site. You can have all the different information on there. So that's why we're doing it. So the first thing you want to do if you don't have a Google site, you need to do that step first. So there is a video in week 1 on setting up Google Drive. So if you don't have Google Drive, you want to go do that first. Otherwise, if you have Google, a Google Drive, we're going to go to Google Sites. And you can get to it a lot of different ways. If you've been using Google, you might have Google Sites. It might be farther down on the list. You might have to add it to this list. So these are all your Google apps. But if you don't have it on your little list, you can just simply Google Sites and it'll come up. So Google Sites, sign in. And it'll look like this. Now, I have several Google Sites, so mine will show some down here. Yours will probably not. If you have not already signed into your Google account, it will ask you to sign in before you can actually create a new site. But sign into your Google account and then you can create a new site. And the button here is create a new site. So we're going to do that. And what you come to is an untitled site and a blank page. So we have a few buttons up here. We have the undo button, the redo button, the preview button. The preview button is where you can see your site and how it would look on a phone, a tablet, a PC, and it reformats it for you automatically to fit those different devices. Because I haven't published a site, this would be a link to my unpublished site. But as soon as I finish it and publish it, it will change to say a copy the link for your published site. And this is a button that you will use a lot to submit your work in Blackboard for the course. And then you can also share with others, and we're going to see how important that button is as well. And then also settings for your site, which we'll go over in a minute. We also have more, which is report a problem, privacy, terms of service, help, take a tour. So if you want to take their little tour, you can certainly do that. And then we have our meat and potatoes here, which is the insert button. So when you're on the insert button, you have these features available. And there's very nice layouts here where you can have pictures and it lays it out for you. You can have text that collapses, so like an accordion kind of text, a table of contents, an image carousel. So if you have a bunch of pictures that you want to flip through on the site, you know how you see pictures kind of scroll across the screen? That's what this does. You just have to put the pictures in there and it will automatically scroll through them for you. And you can set the timer on it, how fast or slow. You can create buttons, dividers, placeholder. If you know you want something in a certain spot, but you don't know what it is, you can just put a placeholder there. Very easy to put YouTube videos in here, calendar events, maps, Google Docs, slides, sheets. So all the Google artifacts that are created through the Google apps come in very easily. A Google form, charts. So very, very easy to use. You can also insert an image. You can embed a link, like to a web page. Maybe it's to some kind of technology. You can embed it there. And then you can also go to your Google Drive and pull things in from your Google Drive. You'll also note there are pages, and right now I only have one page. So the first page is always your home page. That's why it says home. I can always change that, but I can also add pages, and we'll learn how to do that here in a second. And then there's also themes. So themes are the color, the shape, the font. They all come in nice little packages. So if I decide I like any of these colors, I can very quickly, and you can see it changes the information here and the color, the way it looks. I can also choose a color on the spectrum if I so choose. So you can see how it changes that. So the other thing is the font style, and you can go light, which is the way it is now, classic, and you can go heavy. So that's up to you. And again, play with it, see what you like. You can always change it. And then it also gives you different formats, and you can, again, play with it a little bit. You can play with the different types, different levels. So pick one that you like. I'm generally a simple type person who likes very simple, clean styles. So I think I'm going to go with a very clean title page here. So once you pick your style, then we're going to start setting up our pages. And we'll add to these later on. So all we want to do right now is just get the pages set up. So the first thing we want to do is actually title our site. And for this, I want you to just use your last name and portfolio. So mine would be Arbogast Portfolio. So that's how you will call your portfolio. It will be the Arbogast Portfolio. It's the name of your site. And then since this is our home page, this is going to be our introduction page, but we don't have to use the word introduction up here. What we can do is simply say that this is Michelle Arbogast Portfolio. And you notice once I start typing, I get the little area up here that allows me to bold, change the different styles, underline, italicize. I can link to something here by highlighting and clicking the insert link. I can make this go to a web page. I can hyperlink it to anything that I want that has a URL or a link to it. I can change the style. I can delete it. I can also bold, change the spacing. I can change the indentation, and again, some other pieces in here. I don't generally use those a lot, but you can see that this is a style called title. But if I wanted to, I could create a heading, which is much smaller, a subheading, even smaller, and just normal text. But being that this is our heading or title, we're going to use this title page. You also can change, I don't like how it wraps around like this. So you see these little dots, which we call handles. You can change the handles, and you want to make sure you even them out so it centers it nicely. I don't know if I can get it all on one line. Oh, there I can. But I have to space it out a little bit. So it's not going to let me put it all in one line, but that's okay. I like this. I like the way it is. And then the other thing that you can do is you can change the background, how this has like a wooden desk or piece of paper. If I don't like that, I can change the background, and I can select an image, which takes me just to some Google images if I would like to. I can go to my Google Drive. I can look at the gallery if I want, and there's some in here. But what I'd like you to do is see if you can get a picture that has to do with technology or the classroom. So I got one here that's pretty nice. If not, you can search on Google. So I could say, classroom with technology. And I could search for something like that. I can, again, if it's too busy, you don't want it, but I could just say classroom. And you can see there's lots of different ones in here that you would be able to choose from. You could just keep searching till you find something. I kind of like the one that was in the gallery. So I'm going to select that and let's see how it looks. Okay, so I can kind of see some technology in there. If I don't like that image, I can just go back and change it again. I can upload one that I have of my own if I would like to. I can reset it back to the way it was. And then there's a couple of different types of headers. So I can do a very large header, which makes a little more of the picture. I could do just a smaller header like I had before, or I don't need a picture at all. I could just do title only. You can see how you could flip back through all of those. I like the large banner, but again, you can pick any of those that you think looks good. So I've got this will be my introduction page. So I like that. So we need a couple other pages. So to do that, we're going to have to go to pages. And the way that you can add a page is simply using this little plus sign down here. And when you click it, it'll say, what's the name of your new page? So the second page that we want to add is standards. And you can click enter or you can click done. So now you see up here in my menu, I have my home page, which is my introduction, and I have my standards page. Wonderful. Okay, so we just have one more page to create, and we're going to click that plus sign again, and we're going to create our Ed Tech Toolkit. And you can click done. And there we go. We've got our Ed Tech Toolkit. So at any time, if you want to change your theme, you can certainly do that. You also, if you change the color, you're going to have to change some of the other pieces to it. Let's go look at our standards page, and let's go look at our Ed Tech Toolkit. So what you'll see is I got the same picture on all 3 pages, and that's just a default, but I don't really want 3 of the same pictures. So on my standards page, I'm going to change this a little bit, and I'm going to select an image, and I'm going to search. And I'm going to search for, let's see, standards maybe? Oh, okay. So there's some good ones here for standards. Kind of like that one. It's techie and it says standards, so that's good too. So I'm going to select that one. Again, feel free to pick any one that you would like. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And actually, because this says the word standards, I really don't even need this. And I could actually delete that. So to do that, I can delete here. And so here's my standards page. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at our Ed Tech Toolkit. And let's see what we can find for that. Oh, there's some good ones in here. This one looks interesting. So do all of these. So that looks very techy for my toolkit. Oh, I do like that. So you'll notice that it looks like it's getting darker or lighter. There's a little button here that removes any kind of issues with readability. So that's something for students who have accessibility issues. This automatically adjusts. If the picture is too light and you can't read the words, it'll adjust for you. So it's a nice little feature as well. So there you go. This is our portfolio. So let's take a look at some settings. So you can change how your navigation looks. The navigation are these areas up here. So your menu links. So right now I have them at the top, but I could put them on the side. There's the side. I don't like that as well. And you can see the color that I picked comes in here. I don't like that as much. So I'm going to go back on the navigation and I'm going to put it back on the top. The different colors that you can do. Again, you can play around with some of these things. That's really the only one that you have to worry about. Branded images is if you're doing a website, like if I was doing something officially for Owens. So no worries there. You don't really have to worry about the rest of this as far as that goes. And once you get to this point, go back to the home page and we're going to publish our website. So let's click publish and it's going to give us some options here. The first time you publish, it's going to ask you how you would like to address your website. So for instance, if we go to googlesites.com, that's sort of the naming of that site. So right now it gave me a suggestion of Arbogast Portfolio, which would be Arbogast Portfolio. And you can see underneath how the link would work. So it's /sites.google.com/view/Arbogast Portfolio. So I can change this to say Michelle Arbogast Portfolio. I could say M Arbogast Portfolio. I could say anything that is not already taken. So I'm going to just put Dr. Arbogast Portfolio. And then who can view my site? For us, normally when we're looking at this, you want to make sure that anybody can view your site at this point, because if I can't see your site, I can't grade your information. But the chances of somebody coming across your site, we're not going to post anything that's that you would have to worry about other people seeing. So it's up to you, but generally you can add my email address, and I'll give you that email address in the instructions within the assignment. But I could add groups or names of people. I can do that up here, or I can simply say, create a link. And I want to publish the site. I could say restricted. Only people added can open with this link. So if I restrict the site, then only certain people can see it. At this point, we're just going to make it a public site. And I click done. And publish. And you can see it's publishing. And it says your site has been published successfully. So I can now go up to this button and it says, very small, sorry, copy published site link. So when you're asked to submit the site link in Blackboard for your assignment, which is how you will tell me that you finished your portfolio and are ready to turn it in, you will click this button and it has your portfolio published link, and you just copy the link and then you can paste it into Blackboard using the Control V as the paste feature. So that's it. That's how you create a Google site. And the next video that I do will be how to add items to the Google sites. So have fun, enjoy making your site, be creative, and we'll get back and put some more stuff into it.